But the question is, have you ever thought about who you really are? Of course, we do not believe anymore in evolution, that we came from apes, we came from monkeys, because we are created by who? Yes, we were created through God's image and likeness. And the greatest person who really knows our identity is our Creator, is a God Himself. Okay? Does anybody here has struggling in identity? You know your identity? Huh?
Amen. My identity is in
Thank
Christ
you for the
alone.
two people who answered. Okay, so what is identity? Anyone? What is
What's your identity?
identity? When we say identity, it is what? It is how you feel and what you
You
believe
believe
about
about yourself.
yourself. Again, it is
How
how
you
you
feel.
feel and what you believe about yourself. Like B. Whenever I ask her, "Hi B, how are you?" Still beautiful.
Ay,
Okay?
wow.
She would
Amen.
also always answer me, "I'm beautiful." Okay? So that is what she feels and what she believes in. Diba? Walang ko kontra. Diba? Ayan. So, what is it that you believe right now about yourself? You believe that you are rich? You believe that you are highly blessed?
Amen.
You are favored?
Amen.
You believe that you are what? You will you will reach your goal in life, that you have a destiny in the Lord? Amen. So there are different things. But there are times that it is not truly happens. It is not the one that we believe in. But sorry that most of the time we believe the lies about ourselves. So you will not live, it says here, you will not live beyond what you believe. And if what you believe is a lie, then that is how you will live. Again, you will not live beyond what you believe, and if what you believe is a lie, then that is how you will live. So that's very important to identify whether what we believe in is a lie or truth. That's why in Asian Path, we always assure the participant what is the truth. We are assuring them to God that the Lord will speak to them the truth that they should believe in. Because most of the time, most of us, we believe lies. Why? Because we receive messages from the time that we are, toddlers, or as we grow up, we receive different messages. What messages do we receive when we're growing up? Negative and positive messages. Negative messages like, uh, you're ugly, you're not good enough, huh? You're a failure, you're a mistake. See? And positive messages, you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you will succeed in life. So as we grow up, we hold on, we receive with those different messages, the negative and the positive messages. But the question is, right now, what do you believe in? The positive or the negative? What are the one that you are holding right now? The lies or the truth? Okay? So if you do not know your true identity, the tendency will be put on the mask. Mascara, you will put on mask to cover up your false self. Like for example, if you believe that you are inadequate, meaning you cannot do these things, okay? Or whenever you feel rejected. So, in order for you to cover up, you have this mask. You cannot show your true self. So what will you do? You put on mask. That you try to please people so that you would feel that you are accepted. So you hide your rejection. But what you do is you cover again another mask. Okay? So it becomes what? It becomes worse. Because the lie that you believe in about your identity will be what? Will become false behavior. Because what we think becomes what we believe in. And what we believe in is the one that we act. Kung ano ang iniisip natin, yun ang paniniwalaan natin. At kung ano yung paniniwalaan natin, yun ang gagawin natin. That is why you see we have these false behaviors. We act like, whenever other people would see, Kristiyano ba yan? Is he really a Christian? Why does he act like that? Yan. Born again ba talaga yan? Because sometimes it contradicts. The truth that we read in the Bible contradicts to the behavior that we act or that we show to other people. Right? So, it's very important that we should be what? We should be open. We should be open our minds to the truth and really accept and allow the Lord to expose the true us, the true self. Like for example, if in this church, one thing that I learned in this church, you can be you. What do I mean by that? I can show what's through me. In this church, I show what my attitude, my weaknesses, my bad attitude.
Amen.
But the good thing is, I was not condemned here. I was helped by our pastors, by the FFI team, to be changed. What are things? It's really difficult, it's really hurting when somebody corrects you, especially Sal. But through the process, for the conflicts that we had, for the away and sagutan, later on, the Lord used him to expose my true self. Because if I react, meaning to say, there are still the ugliness of my attitude, of my behavior that need to be changed. Because our transformation will not happen overnight. It will be a continuing process. But the problem is, when we keep believing on the lies about our identity, it will get worse. So, how do we know our true identity? Our true identity is really in Christ. He is the one who knows us through us. So, next slide please. When we're not yet born again, as we study in AP also, man has a three-part being, the spirit, soul, and body. So if we are not yet Christian or born again, our spirit is what? Dead. Dead, patay. Okay? So the one that's being born again is the spirit. And then the soul is made up of what? Mind, will, and emotions. Now the soul, it needs to be processed also through the Spirit when we become born again. That is why people who fall in love, nasan ka? People who fall in love, what? We need to accept, you choose to fall in love, you will get hurt. Sinong hindi dito nasaktan na nagmahal? Ha? Who among us who fell in love, Mr. Sean, who didn't get hurt? Wow, naka-English ako doon. Okay? So all of us, sometimes there are people who would stay single. I don't want to fall in love because I don't want to get hurt. Like Sal. See? When we choose to love a person, kasama na yun. The pain is included. The heartbroken is included. Because when we hurt, then we will understand the true meaning of love. Because usually it exposes the true us.
Wow.
Now, the false behavior, it has a positive and the negative also. Like for example, what are the negative one? Like for example, the negative one is envy. What else? Insecurity, anger, okay, jealousy, unforgiving. So this is the what? The negative. I'm sorry, the negative. While the positive is self-confident, self-reliant, self-sufficient. Now, why is it a positive, but it's a false behavior? Because it's more on self-confident, self-reliant, because you act independent from God. While we were created, our spirit had been renewed. We were created to be dependent on God. That is why it is not, it's good that I have self-confidence. No, it must be Christ confidence or God confidence. Right? So really, when you are going to pursue the woman, you will you will hold on with your Christ confidence. Amen, Ricky? Because your fairy godmothers are just waiting for you to be the groom. You know, there are times when we are thinking, I'm already Christian, I'm already delivered from rejection. I will set an example for myself. I've been through with the processing with the different participants and the different in Asian Path in 1 and 2. But recently, when we had the Asian Path 2, it's like I'm a first timer of Asian Path. See? Because there are a lot of things need to really dig from ourselves. Now, many times, do you question why are you like that? Like for example, you see in yourself that I still have this negative attitude, but how come that I'm already in the ministry, I am serving the Lord, I'm already preaching. Why is it that I still have this kind of attitude? Because when the Lord exposes whatever that He wants to expose from our behavior, if we are not willingly accept it, confront it, especially when other people will say that, why are you like this? What I learned is that you should not be offended. You should not get offended. You should accept what they said, and you analyze and evaluate yourself. How am I going to change for God's glory? Not for the people, but for God's glory. I'm telling you, when you get offended in this church, it is not a solution that you go to other church or to transfer to the other church. Because the problem is you, not the church. The problem is not the pastors, not the leaders, but the problem is you. I've been there in the Philippines like a church hopper, looking for the church that would fit me. But at the end, I realized that it's the one that has a problem. Wherever you go, you cannot find an AOH who will accept you and understand your weaknesses. But if you're not willing to be corrected and help and support so you will grow in your faith in the Lord, then it will be um, a sad part in you, not the church. So when we have this negative flesh, it is easy to spot because it's very obvious, like this anger, inadequacy that I mentioned. That when a person is feeling this inadequacy or inadequate, so how can the manifestation of this person is what? He becomes critical, judgmental of others, and he would do everything like he becomes a people pleaser, you know, for him to feel good about himself. While the positive flesh that I mentioned is more difficult to recognize. Like for example, if you have this self-confidence, if you, me, and have you met a person who is a know-it-all person? What is a know-it-all person? It's like a walking encyclopedia that he knows everything in life. Yeah. Okay, so the tendency of this person is becomes prideful of his accomplishment. Now, I have a long list from this manual that you can find that I will not show it to you, but it's very long. So, I would like to read to you this Romans 8:6. For the mindset on the flesh is death, but the mindset on the spirit is life and peace. Now, what is the death that I'm talking about here, about the flesh? This is the misery of our soul. Misery of our soul as a result of sin. So if we continue to believe the lies about our identity, then we will what? What will happen is we will be separated from the Lord because it's more about you and not God anymore. So how are we going to be free from these fleshly behaviors or having these false beliefs? Is by believing what the Lord is telling us in the Bible. Is by reading, not only knowing. You know, when we read the Bible, we're not just putting information on ourselves, on our mind. But the very important thing is what? Is applying the Word of God in our daily lives, in our daily walk with God. And if we are willing to be healed from this area, we need to walk in our faith in the Lord. That He can change us, that He could transform us. Because the goal of Christianity is for us to be more like Jesus, to be in His Christ likeness. So there are times that when you fail in your life, you want to give up. Like for some of us here who have vices, you want to give up because nothing changed. See, for example, smoking. You will not smoke for 3 days, and after that, you go back again. So you will say to yourself that I am a failure. You will believe with that lie that I cannot do this. I cannot change. And there are times that when we fail for for the decision that are in our lives that we decided we made the wrong decision, we allow ourselves to be condemned. Who condemn us? God will not condemn us, but ourselves. We condemn ourselves for what we did wrong. And it's the hardest thing that we cannot forgive ourselves. Like the relationship of husband and wife. When you fight, so what will happen is right away, you will not forgive with each other. You will not forgive each other. What you will do is you make a long list of your weaknesses against your husband, long list of weaknesses. You don't want to forgive. But God is telling us that as I have forgiven you, you forgive your husband, you forgive your wife, and you forgive those who hurted or wounded you. Because the biggest mistake of being a Christian is we hold on to the lies about our identity. We don't hold on to the identity that Jesus has given us. You know, our heart is deceitful beyond cure. That is why we get hurt. We've been wounded because there are times, most of the time, we believe on our emotions. We believe on what we feel rather than believing what the Holy Spirit is telling us. Because like Peter, I always give it an example as Peter. Peter is the one who denied Jesus 3 times, right? Now, after that event, you imagine what Peter would feel. That every time the rooster crows in the morning, he will feel so bad about himself. Because this incident would remind him of his failure. Keeps on guilty, guilty, guilty. And he would feel that I am a failure. I have failed God. I am a failure. Condemn, condemn, condemn. That's what Peter would feel. But it's the heart that is wrong in us. We don't understand that there is greater than our heart who could forgive us. Whatever failure that we might done, He is very much willing to accept us, to give us several chances. Now for tonight, this is a challenge for us to hold on to the promises of Christ, to the promises that He had given us. Not just to read the Bible, but truly every day hold on to that promises, to the faithfulness of the Lord, because He didn't promise anything that He would not fulfill, because He is a covenant-keeping God.
Amen.
Whatever situation that we might right now and this time, God will always rescue us. Like what Apra, that what we sing, He is a good, good God. And He is an unchanging God. That we might change. There are times that we change to God, how we treat Him. But He is an unchanging God who would love us not by our performance, but who would love us even to the worst situation, even to the worst things that we did. He will never change His love for us because He Himself is God. There are times that we don't want to love Him, but He will never stop loving us. I believe for tonight, whatever in your heart, you just reflect and ask the Lord, Lord, help me that I would be willing to be exposed what the lies that I've been believing, what are the fleshy behaviors that I'm struggling right now. For He is the great healer, the great deliverer of all times. Thank you, Jesus.